I was also remembering while we were listening how hard this one was to memorize because it has a bunch of repeats of the same words. But anybody who studied Slavic languages know how words decline differently depending on the grammar of the sentence.
Wow.
And as I was listening, I was like, don't mess up. It's like so hard.
Just change the meaning completely now.
Yeah. Being like, oh, the child says, or I said to the child. It's like, oh no. And of course, everyone in the audience, we would always kind of relax ourselves to be like, nobody's going to know if we mess up. Nobody's going to know Ukrainian in this crowd. And then sure enough, after someone come up and be like, I really liked all those songs, but your Ukrainian grammar could use some work. Dang it.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with singer Sarah Larsson, who revisits the Nightingale Trio's 2016 album Izvora. She talks about her journey to singing Balkan music, shares hilarious stories behind the songs, and teaches us how to toast in Yiddish and Ukrainian. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we listen to music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us all the way from right here in the Twin Cities, Sarah Larsson.
Hi, guys.
We are so excited to have you here. And Connie joining us from Richfield. Hi, Connie.
Hey, Connie. Hey, just as a little shout out to Connie, one of our very first Patreon members. It's her birthday today.
What?
So we want to make sure that we wish Connie a very special Back Catalog Listening Party birthday. Everybody, sing with us now. No, I'm just kidding. We won't embarrass you, Connie.
That would be something, yeah.
Thanks for coming. We have so much fun here on this show because of the people that come and join us, like our friend Joe, who's checking in tonight from Minneapolis with a Liftbridge Lost Island IPA lighting his way. Welcome, Joe. Thank you for bringing the party.
That's right. And Tony, are you enjoying any kind of special beverage?
I'm going back to the Sierra Nevada Trail Pass. It's an NA IPA in my Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass.
All right.
Wow.
And I also have my Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass. And I wish I could say it was something fun, but it's not. Nothing fun in this glass.
Well, we don't know what's in there. It's clear.
It's the most fun.
Sarah's got some moonshine, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. It's in that kind of jar. And That's great. Are you enjoying any other kind of snacks, Sarah?
I actually have some donut.
Oh, that looks
the
good.
middle of Hanukkah, and the choreographer of a show I'm in gave everybody donuts yesterday.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Happy, what are we on? Third, fourth night now? I already lost track. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today, and cheers to all of you out there. If you just joined the party, let us know where you're tuned in from, if you're enjoying a beverage or a snack, or maybe birthday cake, if your name is Connie. And we'll just keep the party rolling. This is the show where we invite some of our favorite artists to revisit one of their old records and talk about it and answer your questions. So feel free to join in on the live chat. And today we have Sarah Larsson joining us, who has performed and played with lots of different kinds of musical outfits. Sarah, maybe you could give us a little brief origin story about where you grew up and how you fell into making the kind of music you make.
Yeah, I live in South Minneapolis now, and I never thought I was going to end up living in Minnesota. But I was raised in Excelsior, small town, suburbs vibes, and kind of thought I was off to see the big world when I graduated from high school. But here I am. And it's partially just because the art and the combo of the art and the nature and the puppet theater scene that kind of has kept me around. So I grew up in the Twin Cities. I was a really intense choir and band nerd when I was a young person. Thought that was just an extracurricular activity. And then actually when I was a college student, this is a very good segue into the album we're listening to. Because I started singing with a group called the Yale Slavic Chorus that I didn't even know existed until my roommate took me to see a concert that they were playing my freshman year of college. And I was just like, it was a true, like, what is this amazing music moment? And I ended up singing in that group. And that was also where I met my two other trio mates in what became the Nightingale Trio. So we were the graduating class of our year was the three of us. And
we have a picture here of the three. Since we're on the topic, do you want to introduce your trio here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess it's going to show up on the left for everyone, but in the black printed top is Nilla Bala. She lives in Sacramento. And on the other side is Rachel Laviola, who lives in Dallas. And it worked out that we sang the three voice parts among us. So we sang all these trios, even when we were in that a cappella group.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then the rest is kind of history then. That was it. You got taken by kind of traditional type styles of singing. Tell us a little bit about, like what directions kind of you went from there.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a younger person, like I said, I was really involved in music, but I was also kind of always seeking ways to kind of be carrying out cultural expression from the side of my family that's from Eastern Europe. And even though it's here, I didn't really feel like in the Twin Cities, I had a lot of outlets for that. Maybe I just didn't know where they were. I just thought somebody said hi from New Haven, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. The Yale
Speaking
connection.
Of Yale, yeah.
That's great. Maybe that person has heard the Yale Slavic Chorus. That's awesome. But yeah, I knew that there was kind of cool folk music from that part of the world. And I actually heard a local group called the Mila Vocal Ensemble. Mm-hmm. I heard them while they were performing on a taping of Prairie Home Companion. And my mom called me from work and I was at home and she was like, tune into the radio. Like, you're going to think this is cool. And I did have that kind of jaw drop moment listening to it and then kind of forgot all about it until I was in school. And I think for me, it was like both the music is so beautiful and the harmonies are so complex and interesting. But then I also started through singing with that group, plugging into the community that circles around that kind of music. Mm-hmm. So we went to festivals in kind of different parts of the Northeast. We met other Balkan musicians. A number of us started going to Balkan camp. And actually a really standout experience was singing at a senior home where there are actually a just huge number of elders who were of Armenian descent. And we sang a couple Armenian songs, but also just other songs from the Caucasus and from that part of the world. And really seeing the way that they reacted, they were like, you girls are doing the right thing.
Oh, that's the stamp of approval, right?
Yeah, totally. It was like, oh, this is like really impactful. So I think that just kind of kicked it off as like, wow, this is something you can really do. That combo of seeing people who are professionals in the genre and then that like community impact. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, Alinda joined in to say that, yes, she has seen the Yale Slavic Chorus and greetings from one Yaley to another. So there you
What's
go.
Up? Love that.
We got a few other folks who joined the party. We have Christopher enjoying a Pinot Noir from Savage, Minnesota. Here we go. All right.
Right on.
Okay. And then Alan joining us from Texas. Happy Friday, everybody. Blood and Honey from Revolver. Looks mighty fine in my back catalog listening party pint glass. Cheers. Nice. Oh, nice.
Cheers. Yeah, and so one more thing I'll say for anybody who's tuning in live, hasn't seen the show before, it's really more fun when you're joining in the comments. So if you have questions or comments for Sarah throughout the hour, just throw them in the real-time chat and we'll try to get to them as soon as we can.
That's right. And I also want to ask Sarah, what is I know it probably depends on the language, but is there a good way to say cheers in one of the Slavic languages that is very common that you would say if you were like toasting at one of these, Balkan camps.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people know l'chaim, right, in Yiddish. But also because we're in Minneapolis and we have such a big Ukrainian community, I feel like I want the practical knowledge. So if you're around a bunch of Ukrainians, you can say budmo.
Budma.
Budma. All right. Budma to you and to everyone else out there.
All right. Well, we are so excited to kick off this. So I should just ask for the Nightingale Trio. I know you met in the Yale Slavic Choir and you sang a lot of music from that part of the world. When you formed as your own trio, did you have any specific mission other than singing music from that part of the world, or did you make it narrower or broader than the kind of content you were doing for the choir?
Yeah, I mean, at the start, we didn't even think we were forming a group, to be totally honest. What happened was after the three of us had all graduated, the following January, we were all at Golden Festival in New York, which is this big festival of Balkan music that we love. And the three of us found ourselves sitting together and we were all like, oh, I love this, having that real kind of like, tender, nostalgic feeling. And I don't know if it was Nilla or Rachel, but one of them was like, guys, we should just get together and sing some more. And I didn't really think anything of it. But then Rachel followed up in an email a couple of weeks later and was like, guys, I was thinking about it. And I think we really should. What if you both just fly down to Dallas, stay with me, and we'll book like 2 gigs and we'll, or 3 or whatever. And we'll just put the money towards your flights and we'll hang out for a long weekend.
Nice.
And it was just like, of course, that sounds great. So we played a house show, we played at a wine bar, we did special music at a church. And it was like during that weekend, somebody at one of these gigs was like, do you all have an album? And we were like, ooh, album. And they were like, where's your next tour? And we were like, oh, tour. It was like, yes, of course. We plan to record an album.
As of 2 seconds ago. Yes.
Yeah, it was one of those like, and what is your group called? So it was just something that we loved. And it really, I do think it was us coming to Minneapolis for, our first tour after that weekend, that it kind of was like, oh, this could be a real thing, because the response from folks here was so strong. I mean, music lovers in the Twin Cities are just the best.
Agreed.
So people were so encouraging and so positive and so effusive. People always talk about kind of like non-expressive Midwesterners, but actually everyone is like so strong and clear with the way they, tell musicians what they loved about the set and what it, did emotionally for them.
I think also there's there are pretty adventurous music audiences. So they might like more than in some places, like even if you don't know the language, you'll get more people are willing to go and experience that. Whether they clap loudly or whoop, during the show is a whole nother matter.
Yes, they probably won't. They're just going to nod.
But after the show, they'll tell you how much they loved it.
Exactly. They'll just be completely sullen-faced.
Yes.
And then that person you're like, oh, I really hope that they weren't having a horrible time, will come up and say, this was the most moving musical experience I've ever.
Yeah. And can I ask, did you have the name yet when you did your first tour, and where did that come from?
Yeah, we did generate the name because we realized we had to write something on the promo for these couple of gigs.
Okay. And
the Nightingale is a really commmen motif in a lot of folk music. I think, across the board, but in Eastern Europe also. And there's a lot of kind of stories or imagery of birds in particular as messengers in different ways. So you'll sing a song of, there's some kind of bad news or trouble coming and a bird brings that information. But similarly, like a wedding song with all the good news and good luck that's being spread around, a bird will be the messenger of that news as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, good news coming from all over the place, including St. Paul. Someone joining us, mixing a drink in my back catalog listening party glass. Oh, right. Folks are really showing up with their back catalog gear today.
I love it.
And then also, by the way, that comment also said, what to make? So if anyone has suggestions about what kind of drink they should mix, put it in the comments. Also, Susan joining us from Bend, Oregon, sipping on Garrison Brothers small batch bourbon. People are getting fancy. I think the wintertime, people are just making their own party, which we like. So, and speaking of the party, we're going to get things going with some music. So throughout the show, we're going to have Sarah do most of the pronunciation on these titles. But maybe you could say the name of this first track and where it comes from or where you learned it.
Yeah, this is Kaval Sviri, which literally means the pipe plays. The kaval is a flute type instrument. And the song is in Bulgarian. And I was really excited to start with this one because it's one of these really, really iconic, well-known songs once you start getting into Eastern European and Balkan vocal music. It's actually, and now that I'm saying this, I got to go fact check myself, but I think that this is the song that opens the opening titles of Xena Warrior Princess.
Whoa. All right.
What?
It's either
Lucy Lawless.
It's
like
either
wow.
It's either this one or another song by the same arranger. But this so a lot of people know this song. This is also like our song in the Nightingale Trio that a video of it went the most viral. I think just because that tune has so many little spots where it appears. But also is kind of one of our most legendary moments because the song is iconic for us too, and we just adore it. And we posted a video on YouTube of us singing this song, and the arranger of the song commented that we did a good job.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he's actually no longer living. Also, he passed away about 6 years ago. And yeah, his name's Petar Ljondev. One of these very, very famous Bulgarian composers. So he took a folk song melody and he wrote this actually 5-part vocal arrangement for choir that we then kind of adapted into a 3-part version. Yeah, and he commented, "Nice job, ladies."
Oh man, that had to feel great.
On our video, yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to link to the video and link to info on the arranger. And for now, we're going to enjoy it live here with Sarah Larsson. This is the Nightingale Trio here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
All right. The
Wow.
Nightingale Trio here on the back catalog listening party with Kaval Sviri
Mhm.
from their 2016 album, Izvora, which we are revisiting today on the back catalog listening party with Sarah joining us, one of the members of the group. And which one is your voice, or do you
I
guys
had
do a
the
lot
same
of
thought. I was
swapping?
curious,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm the low voice in
Ah,
probably all of these tracks.
excellent.
In this style
Yeah.
of
As I
music, do they
say,
have a
some
name
with
for
my
that?
real.
Like, in different genres, they'll have baritone and alto and stuff like that. Do they have names for the different parts of this style of singing?
Yes, that's such a cool question. I don't know about in this style. Um, I that makes me want to check because kind of like I was saying, there's this like pretty strong lineage of Bulgarian choral music specifically. So there's folk songs, but there's this choral tradition, that dates kind of especially to like the 1950s, 60s. And so that's what you're hearing, not really like a folk style. But when people sing folk songs, maybe more so in like in Serbia, but there's often a high voice and then a low voice. The low is often me, or sometimes it's just a drone, and they'll call the high voice naglas. It's almost like the word glass. It's like this
Mm.
crystal clear sound. I think that's just a coincidence, but naglas is up high and nabas, like bass, is the
Oh,
low voice.
so you're the
Yeah,
bass.
I'm the bass.
Nice.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
one of the things I've always loved about a lot of the singing traditions from this part of the world in Eastern Europe is just the way the voice is used, like the power of the voice.
Mm.
And also like, no vibrato, which is different from a lot of other parts of the world. So when you first started singing this, maybe coming from like a choir, a more Western choir tradition, was that a big shift for you, or did it just come naturally right away?
Yeah, I sang in a choir that was a very non-vibrato choir when I was a younger person too, which is um it's like almost its own folk tradition. It's that kind of Scandinavian, Midwestern choir style. So I didn't have to turn that off necessarily, but I really did have trouble kind of bringing a fuller voice out of myself, which is a little bit of why I think I was so successful as an alto, because I was able to kind of hide in the texture. It's like, okay, yeah, well, I can stay in tune pretty well, and I can hit those low notes, so I can be that strong foundation in the group. Um, but then when it came time to sing a solo or to learn some of these folk songs where I'd try to sing the melody, that was kind of demanding of a very different kind of vocal production that I just didn't really know how to do. And I certainly also didn't know how to sing like pop music, for example, or sing the melody in a song that I had written. So it was just like, yeah, it was a really helpful part of that journey as well. I remember very specifically thinking to myself when I got out of that choir context, actually, also, so not, the Slavic choir, but singing as a trio, that now when I was my own person on a voice part and there's no one else backing me up and it's all up to me, um, like the way that felt me, like it made me feel like I had something else in there to find and to pull out. And so it led me down more of a path of developing vocally overall.
Yeah, that's
Nice. And
great.
did you do any kind of folk studies or anything like that with like voice people who are trained more in maybe certain dialects or from other parts of the world to kind of help get that more maybe authentic pronunciation of words and things like that?
Yeah, we always both in that college choir is where it all started. So both in that group and then also in the trio, we would work with singers who are kind of master artists in these traditions. Um, in the US as well as in other places. So like one of the perks of living in a place like New Haven, where you're just a train ride from New York, is like there's this huge Hungarian community, there's a huge Bulgarian community, there's all these artists. So we would just like have singers come up on the train and do really intensive vocal workshops with us. And
Nice.
there's also this like really kind of typical experience of like a very polite critical nod, from the singers being like, a little bit of like, bless your heart, it's like, I'm happy you like to sing. So, and it's like a real ear work too, like I imagine both of you, but I know a lot of people certainly do a lot of transcription work. And so it would be a lot of that too, of being like, what note do they hit there? Like, it's definitely not just a D. It's like kind of an ornament, but what is it? And slowing stuff down. So a lot of that, like slowing down and listening and then trying it and then looping really tiny sections to imitate like exactly what that ornament is like. It's kind of this like intensive woodshedding process for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
It sounds there's a lot of technical things happening there.
Yeah.
And nowhere to hide, like you were saying. With 3 voices and no instrumentation. And for this album that we're revisiting today, is it all purely vocal, or do you have any other instruments featured on there?
Yeah, it's all vocal except for a couple tracks that also have percussion. And that was the trio as well. It was just all a cappella. Best group to tour with ever.
I know. I was going to say, you don't have pitch gear.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings, where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party.
Well, if you just joined us, we're chatting with Sarah Larsson from the Nightingale Trio here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, revisiting their 2016 release, Izvora. And we're going to get to another track here. And maybe you can pronounce this one and tell us where it came from.
Yeah, this will be Khodyt Son Kolovikon. It's a Ukrainian song that we actually learned. I just love this. We had posted a number of videos, kind of like I was talking about online, of different songs. And a comment came in on one of our YouTube videos saying, I love what you ladies are doing. It reminds me of the songs that my grandmother used to sing me. And I just, that's the best. So I followed up with that person and messaged them directly. I said, what songs did your grandmother used to sing you?
Nice.
Tell us. And so she sent us a link to this song, which is in Ukrainian. Turns out it's an actually really, really common, just very super beloved lullaby in Ukraine and among Ukrainians. It's a really recognizable melody for the people who know that music. And we decided to learn this arrangement that's based on a performance by a group called the Sokolsky Sisters, who are a group that were really active a couple decades ago, mostly playing bandura, which is the Ukrainian national instrument. But so we created this a cappella arrangement based on their performance of the song. And yeah, like I said, it's a lullaby.
All right. Well, we're going to give it a spin right now. This is the Nightingale Trio here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Khodyt Son Kolovikon
I think my
Wow.
blood pressure dropped like 10
I
points
know.
just by listening to that. The Nightingale Trio here on the back catalog listening party. Sarah Larsson joining us from the group to revisit their 2016 album Izvora, which, by the way, we haven't really talked about where you've recorded this. So tell us a little bit about, how you captured these performances.
Yeah, we recorded everything almost completely live. So those are all real takes of the three of us singing. We didn't track the voices separately. And we were working with an engineer named Jim May, who's based here in the Twin Cities. I don't know if folks know him. He actually does a lot of sound effects work. And he has a beautiful little studio in Amory, Wisconsin. So we went out there by a lake. We were looking at the swans on the lake while we were recording. And
no nightingales, though, right?
They're smaller. Might have been there. We just didn't see them.
Was this what kind of space was it? I always like to try to imagine when I hear like a trio singing together. Like, is it a small room, a big room? What kind of space were you in?
It's a double wide trailer.
Oh wow! Okay.
And just carpeted and paneled, and kind of actually not super schmancy studio space, but with kind of just the right peak of ceiling and size of room. It felt really yummy to sing in, for sure.
It sounds beautiful. He really did a great job too of just kind of giving it space, if that was added later or if that was in the original capture.
And were you mic'd separately, or were you sharing like a mic, or how did they?
What I remember is that, and this could be wrong, is we were each mic'd separately, but then we also had some room capture going on too. But
there's something that happens between voices, especially in this music, where it feels like there's just like you get extra reverberations, spirits, ghosts kind of happen between those voices that if you don't have that kind of extra room mic, you kind of miss out on.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, just listening to that track, I was just like, oh, I want to sing it again. Just like, it's the best. In fact, I noticed that blah, 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 there's Rachel in Dallas.
I was wondering. Hi, Rachel. We're loving the music. Rachel,
really
feel free to share any memories that or correct Sarah if need be about how this was recorded or any fun memories. We'd love to hear from you. And we should ask which voice is Rachel in that mix.
She's the middle.
Middle. Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful. And in that tune in particular, the middle voice is so hard.
Yeah.
Really holding it so steady, and some not super intuitive lines and kind of note jumps and changes.
There's a lot going on in that song. It's not like, there's some songs where you're like, oh, I've never heard this, I'm going to sing along. This is not one of those.
Well, speaking of singing along, like, are you tracking the lyrical content when you're singing these, Sarah? Like, is there a story happening that you could share with us on like a song like this?
Yeah, certainly. So I'll like divert for a second, because I was also remembering while we were listening how hard this one was to memorize, because it has a bunch of repeats of the same words. But anybody who's studied Slavic languages know how words decline differently depending on the grammar of the sentence. So it's like, okay, this verse, is it diti nunika or nunku or diti nu? Or and as I was listening, I was like, don't mess up. It's like so hard.
Just change the meaning completely now.
Yeah. Being like, oh, the child says, or I said to the child. It's like, oh no. And of course, everyone in the audience, we would always kind of relax ourselves to be like, nobody's going to know if we mess up. Nobody's going to know Ukrainian in this crowd. And then sure enough, after someone come up and be like, I really liked all those songs, but your Ukrainian grammar could use some work. Dang it.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. But, and you asked about the story, and that's really like, I think, part of you were kind of saying earlier, Ellen, like, what's the mission for this group as a trio? We were really interested, especially in songs that had really good stories. I think there's so much music out there, right? And
Mhm.
really leaning into like the why of why we would do each song was really important to us, and I think just made it that much more meaningful. So this song, having that connection to that listener who remembered it from her grandmother, but also it's just like such a lovely, I don't know, evocation of that calming feeling. So the lyrics they personify or like anthropomorphize the idea of sleep. And so it's like you're inviting sleep to come to you. Which now, now that I have a baby, it takes on a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
It says like
That
our house is warm. It's going to be a great place for you to spend the night. Like come
Aw.
visit our house.
I
Sleep.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Nice.
Well, if you just came into our house, into our back catalog listening party, welcome. Tell us where you're tuned in from. If you're enjoying a beverage or a snack, this is our weekly musical happy hour. And we're so excited to have Sarah Larsson joining us from the Nightingale Trio, and Rachel as well, joining in from Dallas, Texas. We're going to get to as much music as we can from this 2016 release. You want to tell us about this next track we're going to enjoy?
Yeah. So Salcie Pletoasa is a Romanian song. And I'll kind of let it speak for itself, I think, rather than talk too much about it. But it's a Romanian folk melody for Easter.
All right. It's the Nightingale Trio here on the back catalog listening party. Oh, love that ending.
So good. The Nightingale Trio here on the Back Catalog Listening Party from their 2016 album Izvora, which we're revisiting today, which I should mention, you still have CD copies available. So folks can buy physical copies if you go to thenightingale.bandcamp.com. You can buy the album. And I'm betting in the album, folks could find like some notes about like where the songs came from. Look at those liner notes.
Look at how I put my heart into these liner notes.
Love it.
They're so detailed.
I love it. That's worth it right there, folks.
It sure
is. That's information that you probably won't find anywhere else on these recordings. And, it's one of the things that we really lose when we're just streaming music. So I'm going to agree here with Ellen. Why don't you head on over to thenightingale.bandcamp.com, pick up the physical version of it. You'll not only get the high resolution files that sound way better with no missing ones or zeros, you're going to get those liner notes, extensive research.
Yeah.
And look, if people order them before this coming Monday, I'll get them in the mail probably in time for Christmas.
That's right. So if you join us for the live taping,
that's cool.
And remember, if you're listening on the podcast, people got birthdays.
You have birthdays.
Give yourself a gift, the gift
There's
of music.
like Bulgarian Independence Day gifts,
When is Bulgarian Independence Day? We'll have to put that on the calendar.
I forget.
But also it goes a long way just to show the artist how much you care about what they're doing. Because one CD purchase is, 10,000 streams.
That's right. And if we ever want to have a reunion of the Nightingale Trio, Rachel's joining us, Sarah, maybe we can get all three of them back together. They live in different places. They're going to have to pay for airfare. Sarah has a new baby, so.
Yeah, get those, buy those CDs.
Buy a CD. It's the least you can do. And then you get the music and the liner notes and all that good stuff. And also, if you want more information, the Nightingale Trio does have a website. But Sarah, since I know the trio's, let's say, dormant, I'm sure it will be revived at some point. But your current musical project where you can hear songs of similar ilk is Red Thread, redthreadsings.com. So if folks want to find what you're doing right now and see you perform, that's where they would find you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I hear that by the time this podcast airs, you might have a new single coming out. Anything you want to divulge about that?
Yeah. With Red Thread, I've been exploring similarly a lot of these folk traditions, but then also original songs that are based in, my own position as a member of the tradition. And so I've written a couple original songs in Yiddish that the texts come from poetry written by women writers in the 20th century. And I'm actually working kind of across a couple different genres. So there's the folk element, but then we're doing a little bit more like post-production, ambient kind of world building sound work on these tracks. So
awesome.
Those are coming out. Yeah.
Sounds really cool.
Wonderful. Well, hi, I'm to that for sure. Redthreadsings.com is where you can find all the different stuff. And I also know that end of January is your big Klezmer on Ice event here in the Twin Cities, which is a big thing. Anything you want to say about that or what's coming up this year?
Yeah. It's the last weekend in January. Klezmer on Ice is a festival we started 3 years ago just to have fun and really enjoy Jewish folk music from Eastern Europe. Instead of doing it in the summer, we said, let's do it in the winter because we need more fun things to do in the winter.
Yeah. We do.
So we have a couple just like superstars coming into town, Ilya Schneeves and Sarah Meyerson. They'll be headlining. There's a cabaret. There's going to be sing-alongs.
Any music on the ice? People actually playing,
and it will be on the ice.
Skating.
Knock on wood. Mirza Hashem.
Yeah.
We did have to do it not on the ice one year, but we have a partnership with the Art Shanty projects. So we bring
what
out
lake
the band.
is it on? What lake is
it's
it
on Lake Harriet?
Excellent.
Cool.
For those of you listening to the podcast who are not from Minnesota, this is just a very, very Minnesotan conversation we're having about festivals and concerts that we have on the middle of a frozen lake.
That's right. It really does
which
happen.
Lake,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, which lake? It could be any.
I don't know if it was on that other lake. Like,
if it was on Nokomis, Tony and I could just walk there.
That's
so
that's true. I have to
it.
say though, also I can say that Red Thread also has a show we're really excited about that's coming up. We're invited to open for Ye Vagabonds at the Cedar
Cultural Center
the Cedar Cultural Center in Minneapolis, and they're just really heroes of mine personally and have informed a lot of the way I think about folk music and the way I want my music to sound. So it's going to be a fangirl hero
when
moment.
Is that?
Nice.
February 9th.
All right. Well, I think this podcast will be out before then.
Yes, it definitely will. So we'll make sure to have links to all that stuff. So if you're listening to the podcast or if you're joining us for the live taping on YouTube, we'll have all the links to all this good stuff on the Back Catalog Listening Party show notes. So if you go to backcatalog.listeningparty.com and go to this episode with the Nightingale Trio, you'll be able to find all of the links to all the stuff. But otherwise, redthreadsings.com is another good place to find all of that stuff. The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. Oh my gosh, so much to talk about, so much music. I'm not sure if we'll have, I don't know. Do you want to do one more or do you think, what do you think?
I think we have time for both. I'm looking at the times here and the two of them combined are under 5 minutes.
Oh, well, we'll do it. We're going to do both of these, folks, because, it's getting cold and wintry here in Minnesota. We need something to wear. And folks have really gone all out tonight, making some fancy beverages. It's Connie's birthday. We're going to party it up. So tell us about this tune.
So we'll hear Vo Naše Selo Malovo, which I really wanted to play because I learned this song the other songs as well, but this song, I just loved the way that I learned it. I was in Serbia studying and I worked with a singer who's a member of a really prestigious folk dance ensemble called the Kolo Ensemble. And because they're so prestigious, she was like, okay, I can work with you. I'll teach you a song, but we've got like 20 minutes. So meet me at rehearsal. As soon as rehearsal's out, I'll teach you a song. And I was like, okay. So I had my tape recorder and we literally sat on a park bench across the street from the rehearsal hall. And she was like, okay, are you recording? Here goes. And I was wow. But she was awesome. And this song is kind of also one of these iconic folk songs for people who know Serbian music. We always kind of get chuckles from audiences when we do it because the lyrics, of course, are about a poor guy in the village who really wants to get married. And the narrator of the song says, like, that's great. You can definitely get married. Do you have a house? Like, nope. That's this one. And this one also has percussion on it. So it's the first one of what we've listened to that has that.
Very cool. It's the Nightingale Trio here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Nice.
I'm guessing that's like a version of a Serbian version of a headbanger, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw the heads moving in
Yeah,
all
exactly.
your
That's a
little
good
windows.
one. Well, even without the percussion, just the rhythms of the vocals are
So
very
good.
cool.
And tell us what kind of drum you were percussing on.
Yeah, I'm playing a darbuka or doumbek, which is
Mhm.
a goblet-shaped drum. That's a cast metal drum with I have a plastic head
Mhm.
on it. Yeah, it's kind of played throughout the Eastern Northern Mediterranean region.
Excellent. Well, folks chiming in, Susan saying just lovely. Really, really great music. And again, you can get it all on this 2016 release, Izvora. And I should mention there's other Nightingale Trio releases as well. So you can get them all if you go to the Bandcamp page, which you can link to from the back catalog listening party show notes. And we want to, before we get to the last song here, we want to thank the folks that have kept this show going for 5.5 years over that, including our patron friend Connie, who's celebrating her birthday. So we need to give her another special shout out. So one of the first to come on board. We want to thank these folks for making it all possible. Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Yvonne, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, Eric, Stephanie, and maybe you. If you want to support the show, also there's many cool perks, but one of them is that you get invited to these live tapings. So if you want to ask the guest artist questions and join in the community of music nerds, that's the best way to do it. You also get first look at all the guests, finding out what's coming up in the podcast, free downloads, and while supplies last, because they've been very active in the comments today. A lot of folks using their back catalog listening to Party Pint Glass.
I love it. Yeah,
which I
we
think
got a few left. Just a handful.
Exactly. So
I'm
while supplies
jealous.
last, I know. Well, okay. Maybe I won't bring it to klezmer on ice because I feel like it feels like a recipe for something bad happening. But we can hook you up for sure. But I do feel like I think maybe it's because of the winter months. People just need a bigger glass to fill.
That's right.
This time of year.
I mean, I got a quart jar.
Exactly.
There was no reason for me to use a quart jar,
Yeah.
but it seemed like the right thing to do.
There you go.
Security at this time of year.
But if you'd like to join the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon community, we'd love to have you.
We would.
It really, really helps support the show and keeps everything running smoothly. And
for 1 hour a week, folks, you don't have to think about anything else but music and community and all the good stuff in life. And right now, this has been the case since 2020. This is my favorite hour of every week.
Yeah, it really is. And we are so grateful for all of you, whether you're listening or whether you're a member of the Patreon community. I love this comment from Alan. Come for the pint glass, stay for the music, and stay for the company, because really what's special about this show is not just exploring music or rediscovering it, which is lovely in itself, but it's also it's getting to hang out with our favorite artists. It's hanging out with the folks who are part of our Patreon, the fans of the music, and we all listen to music in real time together, and that is really special. And so we want to thank all of you for being a part of that, whether you're listening to the podcast or tuning in for the live taping. Thank you for being here. And if you like what you hear on whatever platform you're listening on, like it, give it a thumbs up, review it, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe, because that's how you get notified of what's coming up next on the show. Mary chiming in to say the best is the company.
Agreed.
I agree. And then if it leads to more musical adventures and discoveries, that's great. So thank you for being here. Thanks to Sarah for taking the time away from her baby to join us. And
we really do appreciate it.
Before we listen to this last track, I do want to ask this cover art. There is a trio of women on the cover, but it does not look like the three of you, I'm guessing.
No, it is not. It is actually a historic photo from circa 1909. That is part of this collection in the Library of Congress Visual Archive, which honestly, we're all music nerds here, but any nerd could get into the Library of Congress visual collections. They're just so amazing. So this was a photograph from Russia from 1909 that I did some color editing on to make it a little psychedelic and fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But yeah, I like speculating, what's the food items they have on their plates. And we're kind of always going as a trio, we're going like, who's who, tag yourself.
Which one is
like, yeah.
That's great.
Especially because you colorized it, the colors are maybe even more vibrant than they would have been in real life. And so like, I love that on one of their plates, it's very red. Like that looks redder than beets. That's all I got to say. I don't know what
maybe
that
it's like raspberries,
maybe.
or currants or something. You never know.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I'm excited to hear this last track. Tell us about it.
Yeah. And this is, a tune that we really frequently ended and presently shows with. So it works to play last. It's a dance song from the Republic of Georgia called Tsangala, which is just the name of a person. So it's, like a Sweet Caroline or an O Susanna or whatever. It's just, that's the person's name. But in this song, it's like egging on this person, Tsangala, to come out and dance, saying like, the girls are out here dancing. When are you going to join the group?
I love it. All right. If you're out there listening, why don't you get up and dance for this last track? This is the Nightingale Trio here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Tsangala gogona, tsangala gogona da, tsangala gogona, tsangala gogona da, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona, tsangala da gogona da, tsangala gogona. Tsangala da gogona da, tsangala gogona da, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona, tsangala da gogona da, tsangala gogona da, tsangala da gogona da, tsangala gogona da, tsangala galakta vida khurteni moitana, khurteni tviton chachama saplaviga itkara, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona, tsangala da gogona da, tsangala gogona da, tsangala da gogona da, tsangala gogona da, gausvida gamalsvi viton shianuria, mesoblistas kelsu atle visis shianuria, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona, tsangala galakta vida khurteni moitana, khurteni tviton chachama saplaviga itana, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona, tsangala da gogona da, gogona da, tsangala gogona, tsangala gogona da, gogani 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 gogona, gogani 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 gogo, gogani gogani gogona.
All right. Oh, well, definitely can see why that's a show closer. That's
I love it.
great. Perfect way to end things here on the Back Catalog Listening Party with the Nightingale Trio from their 2016 album Izvora, which we have been revisiting today with Sarah Larsson, one of the members. Also, Rachel joining in the live chat. So thank you for joining us as well. Thanks to all of you for joining the party, listening, however you have done so. And yeah, folks loving the music. And Connie says, what gorgeous music. Thanks for a lovely birthday concert.
All right.
Well, we're happy to oblige. And Sarah, thank you for taking the time to hang out with us today.
Such a pleasure. Really. I mean, yeah, the whole fun of this, of revisiting something I haven't listened to in a while, is a dream.
Yeah.
It sounds great. And if you want to have your own copy of this great music and the liner notes and stories behind it, head on over to the nightingale.bandcamp.com and pick up a copy.
That's right. And if you want more information about what Sarah is currently doing in her Red Thread project and all the events, go to redthreadsings.com. And again, thank you so much for spending this hour with us. And thanks to all of you for being a part of the party. It's more fun with all of you here. So
excellent. Well, until next week, everybody keep enjoying the music, keep supporting independent artists. Cheers. See you next week here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. L'chaim. Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.